Welcome guys, hello, my name is Ruben Lombroso, welcome to my studio. Today we will speak a little bit about my music, my practice, my workflow. Together we will listen to some tracks, we will enjoy a little bit of my live set, and we will walk together through this space that is my studio, where I make music, live, think and create everything I love in my life. So, to introduce myself and speak a little bit about me, I started making music in young age through rave parties. Then I went to the conservatory in The Hague in the Netherlands, where I discovered micro house, minimal, Villa Lobos, Luciano and that kind of vibe. I immediately fell in love with that kind of music, and after I graduated I moved to Berlin to enjoy the scene there. There I started making music with Alexander Folonari, and we created the Shampoo Douglas. It was a very kind of micro house, minimal vibe with a funny twist. We tried always to be ironic about what we were doing and not too serious, I would say. After some years there, where we played at Toppe Tosse, Club de Visionnaire, home, we moved back in Italy, because after many years in the north of Europe we are a bit fed up with the weather and with vegetables that tasted like water. We missed that good old Italian sun. So we moved back to Tuscany, where my good old friend Alex had a small house where we could have our studio and make music together. Well, in the morning we were tending olives, like we had a huge olive field where we would, like grow it, and in the autumn make olive oil. And in the afternoon we were busy making music. It was a very healthy life. After Berlin, it was, believe me, it was needed. And nothing. While we were there, our good old friend Pablo Arangoiz from Miami came to visit, and we created another project that was called La Decima Vittima. We made only one record that was published on Marco Maranza Quest label, La Notte del Diablo, and it was a very peculiar record because we kind of pushed the boundaries of where we were comfortable. We went in a completely other direction, where we tried to mix together different kind of vibes, and well, we had this feeling that the music trend was going towards a more dark, trippy vibe that actually nowadays are very common, but that was back in before COVID. There was 2019. And so we had this concept of sampling old horror Italian movies. That's why Primo Tempo, La Decima Vittima. La Decima Vittima is a movie by Piero Piccioni. And so we started sampling these old movies, finding inspiration, and we created like this crossbreed between house and techno and electro, where you get these very pumping beats with these kind of creepy melodies and weird sampling. We made something like 15 tracks, and Quest picked 4 out of those, and he made the record. It was kind of very successful record. I feel like he printed something like 1,000 record. And then nothing, but we are always in the search of new sound. So after, and also after COVID hit, we kind of put that aside, each of us to pursue other musical genre. I often get the question which genre of music I make, in which field I move. And this is one of the hardest questions, because I feel like genre are like a prison, it's something that people needs to define what you make, so that they can categorize it. Oh, this guy, he makes techno, he makes house, he makes tech house, he makes electro. To me, music is always a cross of many elements. Like during COVID, I started playing funk, started playing the Rhodes and the piano way more than before. and it's something that I started bringing into my own music. For example, La Decima Vittima, the record Primo Tempo, it's a huge combination of many different elements. Like you get some hip hop, you get some UK garage, you get some house, you get some techno, you get some acid, and you get this sampling from old horror Italian movies. So to try to define it is just a way for label it and sell it. That I of course understand it to sell, because we need to sell music to make a living out of it. But at the same time, it's not really functional, especially when you are making music. To try to define yourself and to be like, oh, I'm gonna produce something for this. It's something that it doesn't help to spark the creative process. So, in my opinion, what's really needed is just to let it go, to pick your influence and to put them together without wondering too much about what you're gonna make, but just to try to have fun, enjoy the process, to play, to really play, to explore the verb, to play music and to get somewhere. That's the moment where you get the best output. Like at that time, during those sessions with Alexander and Pablo, we made in like 3 weeks something like 56 tracks, because we were just having fun the whole day, producing, making music, smoking joints, laughing a lot. And we made the 15 tracks for La Decima Vittima. We made 40 tracks for another project that we'll talk later, a package that just hit the shops. And so just what I'm trying to say is that genre are like prison, and we don't need them to define what we are doing, and that's also something when it comes to what our DJ playing. Oh, this DJ plays that and that. Like I love the term selector because it's a more open format. Like the idea of a DJ that is a selector, that he can pick any kind of genre and make a DJ set out of that. So during COVID, all of us had to deal with a hard moment, with the hard truth of being unable to make a living with music, and that was the same also for me. So I came back to my hometown, Canale. We are in Piedmont, in the countryside, near Langhe, Alba, Roero. It's a place where people make a living basically making wine, very good wine, I can tell. But this is no place where it comes to music. So for a few years I was struggling with it, but luckily, and I have to say thanks to social media, I met with another guy, Umberto, because he saw that I posted the record from La Decima Vittima, and he couldn't believe that the guy that was living next to him was one of the producers that made it. So he contacted me, and together we started throwing parties. The name of the party is Bad Habits, because we know that it's a bad habit to party till the day after. And so we created a scene in the countryside where we would make this party that would start in the night and go on till the afternoon of the day after. And for a few years we pushed in that direction, but sadly it's very hard to find location in the countryside to make these things in a legal way. So we decided for a little bit to put a stop to this, and we moved our party in Turin, and we started working with clubs. The thing is that to make party in outside the city, it's a struggle, because you have our time with location, but the positive, the bright side is that it's plenty of people that love this kind of vibe. They love this kind of music, and they don't have a place where to live it. Because if you have clubs in the countryside, they play reggaeton, commercial music, and they don't bring a real underground vibe. So if you manage to throw a party, you can be sure that you will have a very huge attending, a very huge crowd that is going to be pleased with it and is going to vibe till the day after. We did some guests. It was not only resident. We worked with Slow Life. We worked with DJ Tizza. We worked with with other crew that are throwing party in Piedmont, and we had a very good run. Nowadays we have it in Turin because it allows us to have a regular party once every month. We are working with Capodoglio, and we will see where it goes. For now, the project is to, during summer, to have one party in the countryside, especially because people are fleeing the city in the summer and they love to be able to go in a cooler place and party. And we see where it goes. So when it comes to music making, I have my own process and it's something that is constantly developing. During my studies, when I was in the conservatory, we were trained to use both analog synthesizer and software, and I don't have a huge preference when it comes to it. I find that each job has its own tools and it really depends on what I'm trying to achieve. When I'm more into a jamming mood, I always rather to use hardware because it's less distracting. It allows me to go deeper into the sound and to, how do you say, get lost into it. When I'm more in a productive mindset, I find to use the laptop and software to be less distracting, where I can go straight to the point. I love to jam with keyboards, with the piano, with the Rhodes, to get an idea going. When it comes to make something more funky, make something more housey, while I love to start with the modular synthesizer or with the drum machine, the Tempest, when it comes to something more weird, techno-electro oriented. And each tools I find has its own way of expressing itself, and I also like to switch a lot, not to get bored, you know, because if I'm having fun and I'm able to transmit that fun to the person that is listening to the music, it means that I have achieved my goal. No, we are making music. I'm making music for people to dance, to enjoy, to drink, to laugh, to make love. So I feel like I need to keep that connection alive. A lot of time I just record the jams and not with the idea of being productive, but as a material to later use in a software environment, so that I can have a little bit of that emotional content in a more productive environment when it comes to software. I don't sequence a lot using the laptop, the hardware machines, so like each instrument, it's its own self-contained world that inspire me to do different things. So this is my favorite playground. Here I have my lovely modular synthesizer that has been my instrument since the conservatory. This is a drummer from another mother. It's a weird drum machine synthesizer from Moog. And here I have the Ocost, that is a weird synthesizer from Make Noise. This is a corner that I use by itself. So it's always plugged, it receives MIDI and audio from my DAW. And I can always use it to make some weird texture or to process some sound that I made with the computer. As a matter of fact, I often use the modular synthesizer when I want to make more conventional music to process sound instead of creating it, because I find that it excels to create a weird texture like the one that we can listen now. While in this corner I have machines that I use when I want to use them. I bring them to my desk and I use them one at a time. This is the David Smith instrument Tempest. It's a lovely drum machine. It's the drum machine that made basically all the Shampoo Douglas drums and synthesizer. It's very weird and peculiar because it's mostly a subtractive synthesizer that gets morphed into a drum machine. Well, this one doesn't need any introduction. It's a clone of the 303 from Behringer. While the Octatrack from Electron, this is a sampler. I actually don't use it in the production. I only use it to do live sets. While here I have a nice old vintage synthesizer. Actually, it's a very cheap one, but it has a interesting, lovely analog filter. That I use mostly to make weird leads or some hairy pad. Well, going forward, this is my keyboard corner. I have my piano that it's like my MIDI keyboard. I use it when I need to write something and record it in the computer. Especially to write chords. This is a very good way for me to get something going that it immediately sits in some kind of harmonic content. Here I have the Rhodes. This is where my love for funk, disco, house music comes from, because this is like, for me, one of the most lovely sound that exists when it comes to piano and chords. While here I have my desk where I work at the laptop. I have my tape machine that I use mostly as a delay. Here I bring the instrument that I want to work with. Now I'm working with the clone of the Wasp. I use it as a mono synthesizer. Here I have my reverb that is always connected to the mixer, the Toft. So if I want to have some basic ambience, I can, using a send, immediately send it over. Here I have a weird microphone because we always try to record everything that sounds good. Sometimes it's nice to try to record things in a way that they sound bad, so that they have character. Immediately when you record through this, I use it mostly for voice, you get this crunchy, distorted voice that sits very well in a composition. We can check out what I have here on my tape machine, because I often use it to record the texture that then I play back and record once again through the same effects. Let's rewind it. Tape. Here I have my number 4 and it goes to number 3. Okay. A little bit further. And there we are. Often I record texture from the modular. I record them on the tape machine, and then I process them again through effects, reverb, delays, and chorus to get this thick, dense, cinematic atmosphere. Here is where I have my record collection. Here I keep mostly dance music, some disco house, electro, techno. Here I have some old minimal records. Here I have my listening stuff from ambient to funk, some jazz and hip hop. Here I have some cumbia, afro and other stuff. Here is more random and weird stuff that I collected in the years, where I sometimes sample weird sound or weird catchphrase. Here I have some of the records that I produced in the years. Here we have the record we were speaking before with Marco Maranza and Alex and Pablo, La Decima Vittima. This is Shampoo Douglas stuff, where we had all this, of course, branding about the shampoo and the soap. And this is stuff with a Shampoo Douglas, was released on Secret Society, a Chilean label, very good friends. This was a double from Shampoo Douglas. It's a painting by a close friend of us. This record has been also played by Gianmarco Orsini, one of these tracks. This is still Shampoo Douglas. It's on Plus Noir. This is the first record of Shampoo Douglas that was released on Wurstel record. While this is still Shampoo Douglas. We made a bunch of records. Polipaco EP was made with that synthesizer that I showed you before and the Tempest, and this one was released on Pager. And I can also show you some newer stuff that it's in the shop right now. We have this record by Mom Records and Archipel. It's a festival in France, and this is a various artists where I'm with, it's one of my tracks, Nativo, Caimar and Thibaut. These are all artists that played at the festival. We had the release party in December. And there is one track that has a sound very close to La Decima Vittima. Then we have this record. This is a package. Before I was mentioning the fact that when I was in Tuscany with Alex and Pablo, we made shit tons of tracks. Some of them were for La Decima Vittima, and other were for this project package. This is like lefty field dance listening. This is a wild beast. We can listen just a very short snippets of it, just to give you an idea of what we speaking about. And it gets wilder and wilder. This is the opening track, and it's a wild beast. The whole record, and this is out now. It's been distributed by Bordello a Parigi, and Bordello a Parigi is also distributing this record, Disco Gioconda. This is a new label that just launched with two friends. It's the label of Devozioni Baleari, a party that we have in Turin that is more disco funk house. And this record, it's an edit of a piece by Ivan Graziani, Mona Lisa. That's why Disco Gioconda. Data processing. Overloading sensor. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure to share my space, my studio with you. I would like to thank Scasso and Commando for the space that he gave me. And well, I hope to see you soon at one of our parties. It might be Bad Habits, it might be Devozioni Baleari. Scasso is often playing for us, and we might have something cooking very soon that will drop. Maybe it's gonna be already out when the video gets out, but well, we will see. So big hug, stay real.